Welcome to the Ask Junior Daily Judgment Podcast. I'm Priya, and joining me today is Arjun.
Hello, everyone. We're excited to dive into today's important judgment. But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our podcast if you enjoy our daily legal breakdowns.
That's right. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue providing in-depth analysis of the latest court decisions. Now, let's get started with today's cases.
The Supreme Court of India, in a landmark judgment titled In Re, Directions in the Matter of Demolition of Structures, has delivered a strong message on the sanctity of the rule of law and the rights of citizens against arbitrary state action. This case, a collection of writ petitions filed under Article 32 of the Constitution, concerns the demolition of residential and commercial properties without due process of law. The crux of the matter boils down to whether the state machinery can punish individuals by demolishing their property simply because they are accused or even convicted of crimes.
This is a complex issue with far-reaching implications for the very foundation of our democracy. Imagine being accused of a crime and then having your home destroyed by the state without a fair trial. It's a scenario that seems straight out of a dystopian novel.
You're right, Priya. The court, in its wisdom, addresses this concern directly. They emphasize the importance of the rule of law and the separation of powers in our constitutional framework.
To put it simply, the rule of law means that everyone is subject to the same laws, including those in positions of power. No one is above the law. The separation of powers ensures that different branches of government, like the executive, the government, the legislature, parliament, and the judiciary, the courts, have their own distinct roles to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful.
Exactly. The court, in this judgment, outlines the delicate balance between these principles and the need to prevent the executive branch from overstepping its boundaries and acting as a judge in matters that should be decided by the courts.
To illustrate this, let's consider the specific facts of this case. The petitioners, those who filed the petitions, argued that their properties were demolished by the state without any prior notice or fair opportunity to be heard.
These actions, they contended, were undertaken solely because they were accused of crimes, with the demolition serving as a punishment without any judicial determination of their guilt.
The court acknowledges this grave concern and emphasizes that even if someone is accused of a crime, they are still entitled to the presumption of innocence, a core principle of our criminal justice system. This means they cannot be punished without a fair trial where their guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
The court goes further and states that even convicts, those who have been found guilty by the courts, cannot be punished in a way that violates their basic rights, including the right to dignity.
Let's break down the court's reasoning here. The court, citing various previous judgments, underscores the importance of due process and the concept of natural justice, which dictates that everyone is entitled to a fair hearing before any action is taken against them.
Imagine you're accused of a crime. Your house is demolished by the state without a chance to prove your innocence. That's a blatant violation of the fundamental right to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence.
And it goes beyond the individual. If an entire family lives in a house, demolishing it simply because one member is accused of a crime is seen by the court as a form of collective punishment, which is strictly forbidden.
The court also discusses the right to shelter as a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. It's not just about a roof over your head. It's about having a place where you can live with dignity and security, free from arbitrary state action.
It's important to highlight that the court acknowledges that some demolitions may be necessary to address unauthorized constructions violating municipal laws. However, they emphasize that even in such cases, the procedure must be fair, transparent, and proportionate. The demolition should be the last resort, and other options like compounding, paying a penalty, or removing only the unauthorized portion should be considered first.
The court goes on to lay down detailed guidelines for the demolition process. These guidelines are designed to prevent arbitrary action and ensure that the principles of rule of law and natural justice are followed.
These guidelines are critical. They outline the specific requirements for serving notices, providing opportunities for hearings, and ensuring that the final demolition order is based on a clear and just process. The court even mandates the video recording of demolition proceedings to ensure transparency and accountability.
This judgment is significant because it goes beyond simply reiterating existing laws. It sets a precedent for upholding the rule of law, ensuring that the state cannot punish individuals without due process, and safeguarding the fundamental right to shelter.
The court's judgment is a powerful reminder that our Constitution is not a mere document. It's a living testament to our values and a guarantee of our rights.
It's a call for vigilance, not just from the judiciary, but from all citizens, to ensure that our democratic principles are upheld and that the state doesn't act arbitrarily.
And that wraps up our analysis of today's judgments. We hope you found our discussion informative and engaging.
Before we sign off, we'd like to remind our listeners once again to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you daily updates on the most important legal decisions.
Absolutely. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another exciting episode. Until then, this is Priya.
And Arjun, signing off. Thanks for listening to the Ask Junior Daily Judgment Podcast.